Hello, folks. It's Olson from WhatTheBuck.net coming to you live from Valrico, Florida, with the preview to the Bucs-Steelers game coming up this Sunday, which our Tampa Bay fans were incapable of selling out despite being a battle of unbeatens. And the Steelers fans, who normally travel well, couldn't help us out either. So it's going to be blacked out for you local folks. There appear to be a couple thousand tickets available. It'll be a lot tougher to get scalp tickets, I suspect. So if you've got your tickets, great. We'll see you there. If not, good luck with the stream. But on to the game. There's a couple of interesting things going on here. First of all, I don't think anyone expected the Bucs to be 2-0. That's almost stating the obvious. I don't think a lot of people expected the Steelers to be 2-0 given their quarterback situation, but the defense in Pittsburgh has been what the defense in Pittsburgh usually is. It's been outstanding. It's linebackers are ridiculous. Polamalu is amazing, and the line has done a great job. You're talking about a team who hasn't scored an offensive touchdown in regulation, and they're 2-0. Their one offensive touchdown was a Rashard Mendenhall run in overtime for a win. I believe they had all of 7 first downs last week in a win over the Titans. This is a defensively oppressive team. Now, what's interesting is when you look at the actual stats on it, you know, they're not that far ahead of where we're at. Now, we haven't had the same kind of impact, and I didn't look at the turnover stats specifically, which I suspect would paint a very interesting picture. But we're 15th overall in yards. They're 6th at 266 versus 309, and they're 1st overall in scoring, right, which is great. They're tied with the Miami Dolphins, amazingly enough, with 10 points allowed per game. We're sitting there at 3rd, which puts us right behind them with 10.5. This is a battle of two very good defenses, one that everyone knows about and has all the star power in the world, and one that not a lot of people know about, who's really starting to come of age, it would appear, and we hope are on that continued trend against an offense that we hope will be as stale and stagnant as it has appeared thus far. Statistically, the Steelers' offense is anemic, 31st overall with 240 yards per game, and 21st overall with 17 points per game. Now, Charlie Batch is going to be at the helm at the quarterback spot. We thought we might see the statue Byron Leftwich. The offensive line in Pittsburgh has been abysmal. When we look at the actual analysis from Pro Football Focus, which I happen to like quite a bit, the interesting piece to me is when you stack rank these teams overall, and Pro Football Focus goes into the breakdown of the way the play plays out, not where the player was supposed to be, not if he was in the right position but just didn't make the play, it's the results, right? And they grade out every player on every play in every game, which is an amazing thing for them to do. When you stack rank the teams, we are in fact the worst team overall in the league, even though we're 2-0 with a negative 48.1, and the numbers are a bit unimportant because you'd have to understand the way they do their scoring. What is more telling to me is that the second worst team overall in the league by aggregate is the Pittsburgh Steelers at a negative 40.9, and when you drill into the data, it becomes obvious why that's the case. The Steelers' defense overall is at or near the top. It's actually the 6th overall in the league, but their offense is absolutely putrid, and that's really what we're scoring these people based on that. And those scores, those numbers are based on their offensive rating. So you have two bad offensive teams going against two pretty doggone good defensive teams, even though we rank out right in the middle in the Pro Football Focus breakdown. Now, when you drill into the Steelers, I think you see a picture that you'd probably expect. The offensive line has struggled at every spot, and that's made the running game anemic, and the passing game has been able to be shut down as well. We're going to have to see our Buccaneers do the same thing. This week it's going to be interesting to see what the Bucs scheme up against the Steelers to try and keep that to be the case. Now, the Steelers are coming down to Tampa. I remember seeing at the beginning of the Tennessee Titans game that they had never played in a game that had been over 94 degrees. It's currently slated to be 90 degrees and very humid. They will be in their black jerseys. Obviously, the keys to the game are going to be to keep those guys on the field. They got Hampton back. They got some big fellas up front. We want to keep those guys on the field. Now, to do that, we're going to have to do something we haven't done all year, which is establish a real running game. Now, Cadillac Williams looks like he may give some more carries up to Kareem Huggins this week. I don't know if we're going to see Ernest Graham back there. Presley made his appearance, and though he graded out adequately, I thought he did pretty well. I think the offensive line does better in their running sets with Presley in at fullback than they do at Ernest Graham, and that's not a slight to Ernest Graham. It's just Presley is a more prototypical fullback in my estimation. Now, Josh Freeman has been playing lights-out football. He's been making great decisions. He's been moving the chains and doing enough to win, and that's exactly what he's got to do against this defense. These linebackers are opportunistic, and so are their secondary. He cannot get lazy on the slant routes because the linebackers are going to diagnose, they're going to read, they're going to get into the lane, and they're going to create turnovers and havoc. Additionally, he's got to be great with his pre-snap reads. Polamalu is a genius when it comes to this sort of stuff. He's the kind of guy who's going to make a read and reaction and bust up a play. If Josh can keep his head about him, make those reads, and check to the safer plays, I think the Bucs have a really good chance of upsetting the Steelers this week and really kind of surprising a lot of folks coming into the Week 4. Now, on the offensive side of the ball for us, Cadillac, like we mentioned before, not getting a lot of yards per carry, but what's nice is Olson is going to continue to give the ball to the running back and let them continue to try and grind it out. The real onus has got to be on Coach Manjurian. This offensive line that we've put a lot of draft picks into and a lot of effort into, and every year we sit here and say, this offensive line is going to come into its own, it's going to be the answer, has got to sack up and play some football. They've got to be able to create some holes, some lanes for the running backs. They've got to make sure we keep Josh Freeman on his feet, give him time to find Kellen Winslow, who I do believe can be a difference maker in this game, even with the exceptional linebacker play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kellen Winslow is a mismatch. They're going to have to do something to get help, and if they put Polamalu in as a shade over the top with Kellen Winslow, that's going to let Mike Williams and Sammy Strouder have a chance to operate back there in the second third of that target zone on the passing game. Now, additionally, Greg Olson in the offseason, they worked extensively on screen passes, both traditional screen passes to the running back, bubble screens, those sort of things. I think that a combination of those screen passes and drag routes to Sammy Strouder a la Wes Welker are going to be the thing we're going to have to operate on with these Steelers. They're going to try and get upfield. We're going to try and suck the linebackers into that and then try and hit right behind them, let our guys get the ball in space and create some distance. So I do like to see I think that the Bucs are going to be able to pull this out this week. I think they're riding on an emotional high. I think that this us against the world mentality is going to be able to be continued. I think the Steelers have been riding on some amazing defense, and I think that their time's going to run out. So hopefully we'll get that 3-0 victory, and our guys will still not know what it's like to lose this year. So tune in after the game for the post-game wrap-up. Hopefully you like it, rate it up, let me know what you think.